Well, I'm able to talk to you here from Africa. We've been in Malawi for more than a month. We've got a couple more weeks to go. We're really excited about what God's been doing here.
The first month we ran day camps in the villages, reaching thousands of young people. Evangelist Barry Webb and his wife Cheryl joined us in this gospel outreach, along with our Malawian team of helpers. Each day we loaded up the truck and traveled to a different village where one of our newer churches was located. We gathered a crowd and registered the children and young people, but often adults would gather and listen to the singing, puppets, skits, and the preaching of the Word. Brother Barry used puppets to teach Bible principles to the Malawian children. They had never seen anything like it. Some smaller children were even frightened by the puppets, thinking that they were real animals. But the Malawians loved the puppets, and by the end of our camps, our Malawian helpers had learned to use the puppets in the ministry. We would separate the younger children out to teach Bible stories on their level, while the teens and adults listened to the Word of God and were presented the gospel of Christ. Through this exciting time of preaching the gospel, we saw many young people come to Christ in Malawi. Of course, what is camp without some fun and games? Sometimes it was challenging to teach and direct games in the middle of the village, but once they understood, they had a great time.
We did church rallies on the weekend and gathered multiple churches in our organization together, and we were able to preach to about 7,000 people in the first 3 weeks here. And we've just had an exciting summer, a lot of young people saved. The last couple of weeks we've run a school here for our pastors and church leaders, and this has been exciting. Here in Zomba we had 55 pastors come to our school, and down in the Shiri we had over 60 pastors come, so we've had an exciting time training pastors in those two locations. We have a lot of church planters and new churches with us, and we're doing our best to educate them. One of the things we want to do here in Zomba, and hopefully in the future in the Lower Shiri, is we'd like to have a dormitory to be able to house our pastors. Our pastors have been meeting over here in Pastor Gama's church for school. We have an auditorium here. We're able to cook our meals here and do an awful lot with this facility. But we put our pastors in a couple of vacant houses this year for housing. And I would have to say the conditions were not the best. So we're praying about a dormitory here. But right beside Pastor's church is a vacant house. Now, it's a really large house, and if we could buy this house, we could accommodate, right now, about 60 pastors. Obviously, there's some work to be done here. This house could be had for $15,000, and we're praying that God will supply $15,000 that we can buy this house and have a dormitory right beside Pastor Gama's church where we can educate our pastors and church leaders. Now, there's some property in the back. We could expand it. We could house quite a few pastors here in the Zomba region if we were able to buy this house. Pray with us about that. Boy, it wouldn't take but 15 people donating $1,000 and we could have this house. But pray with us about it, because we'd also like to run a Future Bible Institute for our young men where they might come and stay for longer than just 3 or 4 days like our pastors do. But we've had an exciting summer. It's been a blessing. We've seen a lot of people saved. The reports coming out of Moldova and the Siberian team have just been real encouraging. We've seen about 600 people saved in Siberia this year, and boy, I've gotten report after report how many have been saved in Moldova, and all nationals doing the preaching. All of our nationals in Moldova are doing the work, and that's why I'm able to be here in Africa. But Stephanie and I want to thank you for your prayers and all that you've done to help us. Some of you have supported us down here in Africa and in Moldova. Thank you so much. And remember, it's all about the cause of Christ, reaching as many people with the gospel as we can. And that's what God's called us to do.